This is the Redmi 13 and it is a failure in my book. This series of Redmi is mostly known for being great at one thing, and it has failed at it. Let me explain. Xiaomi made the Redmi series to be the most affordable in its class, with competitive specs to its peers, which gave it its edge, and making it the most preferred in this category. A plan and strategy that worked really great with the Redmi 12, despite its crappy design. Imagine my unpleasant surprise, seeing that Xiaomi doubled down on the same played-out design as the Redmi 12, with the only upside being the absence of fingerprints and smudges, at least for this color I have here. I wish they had simply maintained the same look as the Redmi 13C, or just gone with something different. Before we get into details, you should know that the Redmi 13 goes for about 200,000 Naira for the base version, which is about the same as most of the competition. And in terms of specs, it dropped the ball as well. It has a MediaTek Helio G91 Ultra chipset, running on Xiaomi's new Hyper OS, with Android 14, which is behind compared to the Itel RS4 and Tecno Spark 20 Pro, even though they were all released with Android 13. However, my Redmi 13 here has 6GB of RAM with 128GB of storage, while most of its competition has 8GB of RAM on their base model. You can also get the Redmi 13 with 8GB of RAM and 128GB of storage, or 8GB of RAM with 256GB of storage, which will cost you upwards of about 235,000 Naira. My Redmi 13 has been really laggy and borderline annoying. So if you really want to get one, you should consider getting one with 8GB of RAM. Hopefully that will be better. The Redmi series is known for their bugs, and I experienced my fair share of irregularities, but I'm sure those can be fixed with some software updates. Also, you might want to uninstall some of the bloatware, as it comes with quite a few. I personally will not recommend playing high graphics games on this device, and I didn't bother trying out any because it was already frustrating as it is just navigating through this device. And I didn't think it was fair having to push it even more. Low graphics demanding games should work just fine. Navigating the phone and multitasking isn't as smooth as I hoped and would have liked, but it is okay. You just have to put up with the slight lags every now and then. You might not be liking the Redmi 13 so far, but please give this video a like before we continue. Thank you. The Redmi 13 has a 6.79 inches IPS LCD display with 90Hz refresh rate and 550 nits of peak brightness, which is absolutely terrible outdoors, especially in direct sunlight. I would constantly try to increase its brightness, then realize it was already maxed out, which was quite annoying. It has Corning Gorilla Glass protection for its display, and the picture quality out of it is pretty much the same as on the Redmi 12. With a resolution of 1080 by 2460 pixels. It is alright for consuming media and produces okay colors. Just don't try watching anything outdoors under sunny skies. The Redmi 13 has a glass back and plastic frame. Its buttons and ports are the same as on the Redmi 12, with its volume rocker keys and power button on the right side and the power button also doubling as its fingerprint sensor. On the left side is a SIM port that can take a single SIM and a nano SD card, or a dual SIM setup depending on your preference. Its base houses a microphone, a USB Type-C port, and a speaker grill. On the top, Xiaomi is acting like it's absolutely normal to have a 3.5mm headphone jack here, when most people obviously prefer it on the base. I did not like it on the Redmi 12, and I sure do not like it on the 13. But at least they have provided the option, which is a plus. Next to it is an IR blaster for convenience, as you can control all your home appliances and electronics with the Redmi 13. Its build quality is quite solid, and one of my favorite things on the Redmi 12 were its clicky buttons, and it is the same thing here on the Redmi 13. There is just a satisfying feeling to it when you push down on them. Its fingerprint sensor isn't the fastest, but it is somewhat responsive. The Redmi 13 has an IP53 dust and splash rating. It comes in a lovely package, and I might be biased here for my love of red and white. In the box, it comes with the necessary condiments, with only the earphone missing. The main camera on the Redmi 13 is 108 megapixels compared to the 50 megapixels on the Redmi 12, and the both shoots videos at 1080p 30 frames per second. On the Redmi 12, the picture and video quality are terrible, and the video is outright unusable in my opinion. So, is there a major difference with the Redmi 13? Well, the camera on the Redmi 13 is quite usable for pictures, but absolutely terrible for videos, unless you put it on a tripod, a gimbal, or stand really steady. This is not a device for anyone interested in photography or videos, and definitely not for content creators. It requires basically the sun in its full glory to get good pictures, else everything is just dark and gloomy. For video, it shakes so much that steady hands are needed to capture usable footage. So if your elderly parents or relatives like taking videos and want a device, keep the Redmi 13 as far away from them as possible before the entire family gets dizzy from watching their videos. Smash the subscribe button right now if you'd like to see an elderly person test out the video on the Redmi 13. When it has enough light though, the pictures from it can be quite nice. The Redmi 13, however, does not have an ultra-wide lens anymore. Its selfie camera is 13 megapixels and shoots videos at 1080p 30 frames per second, compared to the 8 megapixels on the Redmi 12. However, they are both terrible. Pictures and videos from the selfie camera are just not up to par for this generation, and I was not impressed at all. On the plus side, the Redmi 13 has a 5030 mAh batteries, so they added Jara to make up for all its shortcomings. It also comes with a 33 watts charging brick in the box. If you would like to see a charging test, just let me know in the comments. So in conclusion, smash the subscribe button right now as we are trying to get to 3,500 subscribers, and also so you do not miss out on any content we put out. Alright, now that you've done that, I really can't recommend this device to anyone, especially since it has lost its superpowers, which was its price. If it was much cheaper than its competition, then that would be its selling point. However, at about the same price with lesser specs, I can't bring myself to recommend it to anyone at all. Hopefully, Xiaomi learns from this year's mistakes and gets back to winning ways next year. If this video has been useful to you, do not forget to hit the like button. Thank you for your time. Till we see you again, bye bye.